Hey guys, it's James from SportsDataMarket.io coming at you with another sports data analysis video. It's the end of April and we just finished the 2025 NFL Draft. So I thought it would be fitting to have a video dedicated towards analyzing the selections of this past year's draft. And in particular, I want to graph the total amount of draft picks by their respective Power 5 conference. So as we might be familiar, the SEC, the Pac-12, the Big 10, Big 12, and ACC, these are considered the Power 5 conferences in college football. And so we're going to use this endpoint right here, the NFL Draft by Year endpoint, which is part of our NFL API at sportsdatamarket.io. And we're going to analyze the total amount of selections that came from each conference. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's hop over to VS Code. And I'm going to be using Python in today's video. And I'm going to be using the request library as well as matplotlib for graphing. And you may need to create a virtual environment as well. I have one set up, so you might need to create one and pip install these libraries. But rather than going through kind of the line-by-line tutorial, I have this script pre-written, and I'm going to walk through the script very quickly, and then we'll analyze the results. So to refresh, if you've seen some of the previous videos, you may be familiar with this function that we created called getDraftList. And the goal of this function is to have, from a start year and an end year, go through the time period and utilize a map to categorize picks. And so we leverage our endpoint right here. And the main tweak we made in this video in comparison to past videos is the condition down here, where we make sure that the draft selection came from one of the Power 5 conferences. We can go through this code very quickly. So we can say, we have a loop where we're looping over the time span. And we call our endpoint the NFL draft by year endpoint. Data comes back from that. We parse the JSON. We index it by the index key, which will be that year plus a space plus the NFL draft. And from that, we can loop over the data, which is a list of draft selections. Those draft selections have many attributes associated with them. One of them is the conference attribute, which you can see we extract here. And using that attribute that we extract, we have this condition here on line 14. So we only add to our dictionary if the draft selection was one of our Power 5, attended a school in a Power 5 conference. And then we sort and return. So that's what this function, getDraftList, does. And so now the logic of this script, we see, for the sake of this video, we're going to be comparing this past year's NFL draft, so the 2025 NFL draft, and comparing it to the 2024 NFL draft. But let's go through the code and see how we can tweak it to compare, many different years. We can see that for the sake of what we're doing right now, we set the year equal to 2025, the year we want to analyze. We're going to make use of a dictionary in order to plot the selections. And what we're going to do is, while our year is still within valid bounds, since we're only comparing this past year, right now it's just going to be 2025. So it's only going to be one iteration. But in that iteration, we're going to call the function that we just went over, getDraftList, which returns us that list of draft selections. And we have some conditions here. So if there's an SEC selection, if there's an ACC in the dictionary that we get back, we're going to set our plot dictionary. We're going to index it with the key of that conference. and we're going to set it equal to the value that comes back from the dictionary that we got back from our getDraftList function. So the main purpose of these 5 conditions is we're basically setting up our x and y axes. And so we're incrementing the year plus equals to 1 to make sure that we stay in bounds, or that we satisfy this while loop. And then down here, we have a chunk of code where we're going to use matplotlib to plot the dictionary that we just created. So here we have our color map. And here we are going to use matplotlib to plot. We're going to make use of our plot dictionary. So plug in the keys and the values. And we're going to make use of this color map. We have a little bit of logic here. So we have to make use of some, we have to loop and say for every key in our plot dictionary, which are these Power 5 conferences, set the color equal to the correct mapped instance. So see, SEC will be red, ACC will be blue, etc. And then we have some lines down here where we're leveraging matplotlib, and we're going to want to set the colors once again. And then here we're going to want to use matplotlib to set the x value, the value of the x-axis. We're going to label it with year. And then we're going to use on line 47, we're going to do similarly. We're going to label the y-axis on the graph selection. So this will be draft selections. And then the title of the graph, we're going to say 2025 NFL draft picks by Power 5 conference. And then finally, line 49, we're going to show the graph. So that's enough explaining of the code. And let's come over to the terminal and let's run this script. And this is the results of this past year's draft. We can see that the SEC led the way with almost 80 total selections, followed by the Big Ten, which had over 70 total NFL draft picks. The ACC came in third, just over 40 total draft picks, followed by the Big 12, which had just over 30 total draft picks. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the Pac-12 got divided up this past year, and I think there were only like 2 teams in it. So it had not many draft picks. So in fairness to the Pac-12, what I want to do before we end this video is I want to tweak this parameter to 2024 and this guy to 2025. And we're going to analyze the 2024 NFL draft by Power 5 as well. So it's this similar, same script, just tweak those 2 variables so we can see the previous year. And we'll run this. And actually, I'll rerun it again because I want to tweak the title, 2024 NFL Draft Picks by Power 5 Conference. Let's run this. And so this is the result for the 2024 NFL Draft. Not the 2020, the one that's happened in the past few days, but last year's. When the Pac-12 is more intact, you can see actually they came in second when they were more intact. And it was very much evenly distributed. We can see it's really evenly distributed between the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12, and then the SEC kind of just pulls ahead. It's just kind of, the SEC has been head and shoulders above for the past handful of years. But anyways, rather than go, on to year, I hope this was a great way to show the NFL API at sportsdatamarket.io and how it can be used to analyze data and leveraging matplotlib and whatnot. And I hope to see you guys over there. Feel free to make an account, tinker with our NFL API. You get 75 calls free of charge. And I hope this is a great way to see how we can have some fun with this, do things like analyze this past year's NFL draft. And I hope you guys found it interesting seeing how the selections were divided up amongst the Power 5. So thank you guys so much for watching. Till next time, James the Sports Data Market. Thanks, guys.